Fluffy's Chronicles, punk rock pandemonium and Autobahn madness. Crossing the border from Poland into Germany should have been a moment of reflection, perhaps even a quiet acknowledgement of entering a land of precision engineering and bratwurst. Instead, Emma floored it the second we hit the Autobahn, sending Vandalf the White into a full-blown existential crisis. "Here we go," Emma yelled, gripping the steering wheel like she was auditioning for a high-octane action movie. The campervan groaned in protest, its engine sounding like a death rattle. "Here we go? Emma, this isn't Mad Max Fury Road. It's a campervan, not a jet fighter. Calm down before we end up on a highlight reel of Autobahn disasters." Maurice was already plastered to the window, his tail twitching with excitement. "This is incredible. Did you know the Germans pride themselves on their road safety despite having no speed limits?" I glared at him. "No speed limits? That explains why we're being overtaken by cars that look like they're late for the apocalypse." The scenery blurred as Emma pushed Vandalf to speeds it was never designed to achieve. A sleek Porsche zipped past us, followed by a BMW that practically laughed at our lumbering campervan. "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" Emma squealed, her face lit up like a kid in a candy store. "Amazing? Sure, Emma. Amazing like voluntarily sticking your head into a lion's mouth is amazing. Slow down before we end up as roadkill on the Autobahn of life." Maurice, ever the commentator, piped up from the back. "I read that Autobahn drivers are incredibly disciplined. It's all about respect and efficiency." "Efficiency?" I muttered, claws digging into the dashboard. "Maurice, the only thing efficient about this is how quickly we're shaving years off my life." Emma swerved to avoid a motorbike that shot past us like it had been fired from a cannon. The campervan lurched violently, sending Maurice tumbling into a pile of blankets. "I'm okay," he called, emerging with his fur ruffled. "This is thrilling." "Thrilling? Maurice, if you find this thrilling, I've got a blender at home that'll give you the same experience with less collateral damage." Meanwhile, Emma was cackling like a lunatic, her knuckles white as she gripped the wheel. "This is freedom, boys. No limits, no rules, just pure driving." "Pure driving? Emma, you're piloting a metal box that shakes every time we hit 100 kilometers per hour. The only thing pure about this is the terror coursing through my veins." Mercifully, Emma decided to pull into a rest stop before Vandalf exploded from overexertion. She parked with a triumphant grin, stepping out to stretch like she'd just conquered the Nürburgring. "Wasn't that fun?" she asked, looking far too pleased with herself. I hopped down from the dashboard, fur puffed up like I'd been electrocuted. "Fun. Emma, I've had vet visits that were more enjoyable than that." Maurice, of course, was still buzzing with excitement. "That was exhilarating. I can't believe we survived the Autobahn. Did you know some parts of it are older than World War II? I glared at him. "Maurice, I don't care if the Autobahn was paved by Roman emperors. I care about not dying." After grabbing a questionable drink from a vending machine that looked like it hadn't been serviced since the Cold War, Emma decided we needed a cultural experience. Enter the flyer advertising a punk rock concert in a nearby town. "Oh, this looks fun," Emma exclaimed, holding up the neon-coloured paper. "A real punk concert. How cool is that?" "Cool! Emma, this isn't School of Rock. This is a gathering of people who think showering is optional and shouting is communication." Maurice, ever the optimist, seemed intrigued. "Do you think they'll be talking about political rebellion? Punk was all about questioning authority, right?" I sighed. "Maurice, punk is about mohawks, bad decisions, and wearing enough metal to attract lightning. Don't overthink it." The concert venue was exactly what I expected. A dilapidated building with neon lights flickering ominously and a crowd that looked like it had just crawled out of a dumpster fire. Inside, the smell hit me like a punch to the face. Beer, sweat, and despair, all fighting for dominance. Emma wandered toward the bar while Maurice, the social butterfly, tried to mingle with a man wearing leather pants and a chain that could tow a car. "Is punk always this intense?" Maurice asked, wide-eyed. I perched on a table, flicking my tail. "Intense? Maurice, this is what happens when you give people glue guns and bad taste." Emma returned with a glowing green drink that looked like it had been concocted by a mad scientist. She took a sip, gagged and muttered, "Well, that's strong. Strong." Emma, that drink probably came with a health warning and a waiver. Put it down before it starts dissolving the glass. Meanwhile, Maurice was trying to make friends with a punker who had more piercings than sense. The punker handed him a safety pin, which Maurice batted curiously. Is this some kind of punk symbol? He wondered aloud. I sighed. No, Maurice, it's a safety pin, and if you swallow it, I'm not helping you explain that to the vet. The highlight of the night came when Emma, in her infinite wisdom, decided to join the mosh pit. She returned minutes later with a torn sleeve, messy hair, and a grin that could only mean she had no idea how ridiculous she looked. How was it? Maurice asked, tilting his head. Emma flopped onto a bar stool. Amazing. I think I really connected with the spirit of punk. Connected? Emma, you got elbowed in the face by a guy with a mohawk. The only thing you connected with was his armpit. As we left the venue, Emma clutching a neon poster and Maurice sporting a temporary tattoo of a skull, I couldn't help but reflect on the absurdity of the day. Between the Autobahn madness and the punk concert, it was a miracle we'd made it out alive. Maurice turned to me as we climbed back into Vandalf. Do you think punk is about rejecting norms or expressing individuality? No, Maurice, I replied, curling up on the dashboard. Punk is about shouting, bad haircuts, and smelling like regret. Let's leave it at that. Emma hummed a punk tune off-key as the campervan rumbled back onto the road, and for the first time that day, I felt a sliver of peace. Sure, the world was chaos, but at least it was our chaos. And as long as Emma doesn't drive on the Autobahn again, I think we'll be okay.